Thank you, Chuck. Good morning. We're very grateful to come off a victory. Any win is a great win, and really grateful that we're able to come out with a really good win. A lot of positives to pick from the game, but also a lot of things that we know that we need to improve on and get better at as we move forward. But again, it was great to come out with a victory at home against a team that had been a two-time champion of their league, defending champion of the Patriot League, and so grateful that we were able to come away with the victory. As we get ready in the early stages of getting ready for SMU, my early stages of watching them, impressed with YYC. For them, they've had a really, really tough schedule, North Texas, TCU, and Michigan. And you watch a lot of their games, they're playing tough, and a lot of it they're ahead of TCU to start the game. And so it just, their record is not indicative of how good this team is. They have had to play a really brutal schedule to start the season. So we recognize that. We recognize, who their athletes are. We, play them every year. Obviously, we've seen, Ben Hicks for, a couple of years, and he's a good player. Coach Dykes is a good coach. And so it's going to be a great challenge for us. Like I said, you're watching them. They got the players. Watching them physically against Michigan. They held up against the run. There's some plays that they broke on some stuff, but was impressed how Michigan tried to pound them in the middle, and they played physical inside. We're looking for this game. Looking forward to this game. It's going to be a big game for both of us in our conference, especially on our side of the conference. And so, that's where we're at right now.
We'll open up to questions for Coach Niumatalolo. Hit star 1 on your telephone keypad, please. That will put you in the queue, and then the operator will introduce you. And again, star 1 for questions, please. And we can go ahead with the first question.
We'll take our first question from Bill Wagner, the Baltimore Sun Media Group. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hey, Coach. Maybe if you could expound a little bit more on SMU. Obviously, when they play a TCU and a Michigan, those are two very high-level opponents. Is it hard to maybe apples and apples gauge, when they're, everything about them as relates to you? Or, it's just kind of, I find that interesting when you're watching the tape. You have to remind yourself this is Michigan they're playing.
No, not really, because we play them every year. So we know that they're a good team. They got good athletes. Obviously, they changed their coaching staff this year. But, we know that they got really good coaches on their staff. Like I said, Coach Dykes has been around for a long time. He's a really good football coach. So we recognize that, we've seen their guys before. We know it's going to be a tough game. But also, even in North Texas, here's North Texas just got through beating, Arkansas. And so they've had 3 really tough games to start the year. And you watch them run around. You see their physicality, their size and stuff. Every game in our league is going to be a tough game. And, we're definitely not looking at their record because we know who they've played and the quality of opponents, like you said, that they've played. And, so we just got to get ready, to be our best, for this game.
2 questions. Have you run into Coach Dykes at any point in your career? Have you played a Coach Dykes team? And secondly, how are they different maybe offensively and defensively under Coach Dykes as opposed to Coach Morris?
Well, yeah, he was at La Tech, when we played them. I can't remember, 09 or... When
Ricky was playing.
Yeah, so, before he went to Cal. And, I've gotten to meet him and know him a little bit more at some of our meetings. But he's he's a well-known coach. People know how good he is as a football coach. I've been impressed. We're just commenting on watching their defense that, they're playing really, really hard, playing with a lot of energy. I know they got a younger defensive coordinator, but you can tell he does a really good job of coaching effort and, the way their kids run to the football. So those are some impressive things early on as we're watching them. But we're kind of in early stages of kind of, watching tape and getting a beat of the 2018 team. And I've been impressed with a lot of stuff. I mean, speed, as they normally have, and it seems like they're playing, pretty physical under Coach Dykes. And as we, talked about earlier, I mean, they've had a brutal schedule, to start the season.
Thank you, Coach. Have a good day.
All right, thanks, Wags.
Take the next question, please.
We'll now take our next question from Billy Embody from 24/7 Sports. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hey, Coach. I know you mentioned that you were just in the early stages of watching film on the team, but if you noticed anything different between the offense with Ben Hicks in there and with the young freshman quarterback Will Brown in there, and what stands out about Brown just from a talent perspective?
Well, obviously, he's a very, very athletic young man. I mean, just thinking of the time he pulled it down against Michigan, I mean, on scrambled on the sideline, and I mean, he was moving, and those are Michigan guys. And so you see his athleticism, big arm. Obviously, we've seen Ben, and, we know what type of quarterback he is. He's a really good quarterback. We, had a hard time stopping him last year. And so, I'm impressed with their speed. On defense, again, I thought they were playing really, really physical against, a team like Michigan that's going to try to mash you. And so you see their physicality there, and I thought they held up pretty physical to the run. Maybe got wore down a little bit towards the end. Then also TCU that kind of spreads you out and tries to throw the ball all over the place. So you can see how athletic they are. And so, to me, it's a very typical SMU team, just, with really good athletes. I just think the thing that kind of seems like with Coach Dykes, seems like they're playing really, really hard. And we don't expect anything different but that, it'd be a hard-fought game against a team that's going to give us everything they got.
Is it difficult to prepare for a defense that has shown as many looks as Coach Kane has the first few weeks here?
Yeah, because you're trying to figure out, okay, they're an odd front a ton against TCU. Obviously in a lot of even front stuff against, Michigan, and they move a lot and do a lot of different things. You try to see, what they say they base out of, but people are so multiple nowadays, and so you don't really know what they're going to do. And then especially against us, because people might have their conventional packages or their defensive philosophy, what they're going to do against conventional people. Against us, they have their option package, and it's totally different. And so, we're trying to get ready for everything. We really don't know what they're going to do, but because they played pretty much everything, a ton of odd front stuff and even front stuff, we're not really sure what they're going to do against us.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, thank you for your time today. We look forward to hearing from you once again next Monday.